Global pressure is mounting on Myanmar and its leader Aung San Suu Kyi to end the killing and displacement of Muslim Rohingya. Over the past few weeks, nearly 400,000 people escaping violence in Myanmar's eastern state of Rakhine have streamed into Bangladesh, creating a humanitarian crisis. The UN Security Council has condemned the violence against the Rohingya people, calling it ethnic cleansing. Land grabs and vested economic interests may also be playing a part in the country's religious and ethnic tensions. A natural resource exploitation in Myanmar is widespread. One example is how its jade industry is run. Nearly all of the world's jade, a near translucent green stone, comes from the hills of Myanmar's north. The industry was worth $31 billion in 2014. That's according to a report by Global Witness. That is as big as half the GDP that year for all of Myanmar. But none of that money is reaching ordinary people or state coffers. Instead, the sector is secretly controlled by networks of military elites. Most stones are smuggled over the border to neighboring China. Well, joining us from London is Paul Donowitz. Paul is a campaign leader at Global Witness. Thanks for being with us, Paul. So I want to ask you, first of all, in this report, you have called what's happening here possibly the biggest natural resource heist in modern history. Why is that? Explain that.
Yeah, thanks for having us. So our year-and-a-half investigation in Myanmar found that the jade sector, production of jade in 2014 equaled $31 billion, which would be 48% of Myanmar's gross domestic product, and 46 times the spending on healthcare that the government spent. So these findings led us to the conclusion that this was, in fact, the biggest natural resource heist in history.
Is there a connection then between the jade industry and what is happening right now with the Rohingya community?
Yeah, I think you have to look, take a step back and understand the context. So the military in Myanmar has an outsized role in politics, the economy, and the social life of the country by virtue of the Constitution, which guarantees it 25% and a veto-proof standing to change the Constitution. Also, the military controls key sectors of the economy, and by virtue of this special status, the military really remains outside of civilian control. The civilian government can't hold the military accountable for any actions or abuses it commits against ethnic people, including against the self-identified Rohingya.
And Myanmar is a resource-rich nation, oil and gas being among them. There are pipelines being built right now to connect Myanmar to China. These projects claim to benefit the whole country with employment, transit fees, oil and gas revenues, and so on. But are they doing that? What impact are they having on local people?
Right. So there's a offshore gas field that's been built, and oil and gas pipelines to transport Myanmar's gas and foreign oil to Yunnan, China. And instead of providing jobs and job growth and employment and really spurring the economy, what we've seen is that instead they've engendered resentment amongst local people who feel that they are not deriving benefits from these projects. There's issues around land grabs and displacement, and in fact we're seeing now another mega development project, an economic zone up in Rakhine State, that is fueling additional resentment. So these mega projects, which in theory could provide benefits to local people, instead are having the opposite impact and are really only furthering distrust to the central government and the military, and further marginalizing local people, which is not helping the situation in Rakhine at present.
Paul Donowitz in London, good to speak to you.
Thank you.